My name is Scott Annan, and I'm a mathematics professor here at Cal State Fullerton and co-director of the 22nd Annual Southern California Conference for Undergraduate Research. We are very happy and proud to have you here today, and we are honored to be hosting this event on our campus for the first time. At Cal State Fullerton, learning is preeminent. Our campus aspires to combine the best qualities of teaching and research universities where actively engaged students, faculty, and staff work in close collaboration to expand knowledge. Undergraduate participation in high-impact practices such as undergraduate research, active discovery, and creative activities outside of the classroom are perfectly aligned with this mission. Today, it is precisely this participation that we are celebrating. This is truly a remarkable event, filled with creative performances, excellent scholarship, and illuminating ideas. And I do mean filled to the brim. This conference is the largest Southern California conference for undergraduate research to date. Yes, it's very exciting. By the end of today's conference, this campus will have heard 345 oral presentations and 391 poster presentations delivered by well over 1,000 students from almost 100 different institutions of higher learning. We have people here from around the world, mentored by faculty from all around the world and institutions all over the map. I was tickled to find that even my own undergraduate institution, the University of Nebraska, is represented here today. And I was also tickled to learn that because of the size of this conference, the organizers of the USC versus UCLA football game today pushed back their kickoff start time until the end of this conference so as not to conflict with this event. We are very proud of each and every student who is presenting their research here today. And to each of them, we say thank you. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for persevering. Thank you for embracing challenges. And thank you for your illuminating ideas. I also want to make sure to recognize the many faculty mentors and the staff members who are here today as well. Through your tireless energy, guidance, expertise, and selfless dedication, you have given much of yourselves to the betterment of the students that you have mentored. Thank you for encouraging your students to pursue their scholarly and creative projects and for encouraging them to be here presenting those projects today. Before I go any further, I would like to underscore that today's conference would simply not be possible without the help of dozens of Cal State Fullerton students from across the campus who are volunteering their time and talents, helping you all with registration, directions, and a myriad of other behind-the-scenes activities. You can easily identify them because they're wearing our SCUR logo t-shirts. If you need any assistance, feel free to call on them as you continue with your day on our campus. Many of them are my very own students, and all of them deserve a nice big hand. Let's give a big round of applause to these volunteers. As you are no doubt aware, a successful research or creative endeavor is rarely about one result, one performance, or one conference. It's the journey, not the destination. And success is a journey that weaves its way into everything one experiences along its path. Today, all of you presenters are taking a noteworthy and important step on that path. Your experiences here today as scholars, performers, learners, and supporters will, in ways big and small, shape the path that you and others will take in the future. At this time, I would like to take a moment to introduce my very good friend and the co-director for today's conference, who will also come to the podium to thank some more special people who have helped to make today's conference a success. Please welcome Associate Professor of Civil and Environmental Engineering, Dr. Binod Tiwari.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Anand. And I'd like to add my warm welcome to everyone in attendance today. We're excited that you are here today as well. As Dr. Anand said, this is a special day for students, mentors, friends, and family, all of whom they deserve the credit for the illuminating ideas on display today. So there will be many more opportunities for you to take your experiences here today and grow from them. And I'd like to take a moment right now to mention just one of them. Sharing your research and creative works is of utmost importance, and it is not limited to Southern California. For many years, the Southern California Conference for Undergraduate Research has been a close partner with the Council on Undergraduate Research in Washington, D.C., where I serve as a counselor in Engineering Division. This council's commitment to undergraduate research manifests itself in a National Conference for Undergraduate Research, acronym NCUR. This upcoming year, in 2015, this conference will find its way to the West Coast. It's 29th annual gathering. It will be held April 16th through 18th, 2015 at Eastern Washington University. I want to take this opportunity to encourage those of you presenting research today to give serious consideration to taking your research to NCUR 2015. In today's conference program, you will find a flyer that provides more information about this important West Coast research event, and there is more information in the atrium at the table outside. Please note that the deadline for the abstract submission is approaching, 10 days away. It is December 2nd, 2014. So while I'm on the subject of future conferences, I'm sure you all may be wondering about next year's Southern California Conference for Undergraduate Research. It will be 23rd annual conference, and I have the pleasure to announce that on November 21st, 2015, you can start making plans to join us at Harvey Mudd College. Be sure to invite your colleagues, research scholars, and friends to mark their calendars for next year's SCUR conference. Okay, there is a memorable day. This is a memorable day in the advancement of scholarly ideas and in the careers of hundreds of undergraduates. And as Dr. Anand said, I want to make sure you remember it far into the future. Therefore, if you have not already had the opportunity to take pictures with your mentors, co-authors, friends, and family, please be sure to visit the photo booth in the atrium just outside the pavilion, okay, to take few memories. The photo booth will be there until 1 p.m., so feel free to stop by during the lunch after today's keynote address. This morning, we have already had the opportunity to hear and see dozens of illuminating ideas in oral presentations and posters, and we are just getting going. This afternoon, we will have 2 more oral sessions, and then a huge poster session followed by the reception. So I want to point out that some students are also going to get lucky right here in this room. Following the second poster session, we have 5 $50 Amazon gift cards to give away, as well as 1 iPad mini to give away to 1 lucky presenter. So you won't want to miss it, and you have to be present to win. So at this time, I would like to pause for a moment to recognize the hard work of many people who have worked hard for many months to bring this event together. The 2014 Planning Committee consists of many students, faculty, staff, and administrators who have put countless hours into seeing the conference through to success. Let's thank them for their hard work on this conference. Would the members of the planning committee please stand and receive our appreciation? I would also like to take a moment to express our gratitude to the Board of Directors for the Southern California Conference for Undergraduate Research, where I serve as a board member, for their support and advice in putting together today's program. Many members of the Board of Directors are here today, and I would like to take a moment to recognize them. Would the members of the Board of Directors for this conference please stand and accept our appreciation? At this time, I would like to invite the president of the Southern California Conference for Undergraduate Research to come to the podium to make a few welcoming remarks. Please welcome Dr. Virgil Adams, Professor of Psychology at California State University, Channel Islands, and the President of the Board of Directors to the stage.
Wow. We hosted this conference back in 2012, and wow. On behalf of the Board of Directors for the conference, for the Southern California Conferences for Undergraduate Research, I would like to say welcome. I would like to say thank you to CSU Fullerton. You've done a beautiful job. You've done a beautiful job. It really is. It's big. Thank you. To next year's host, Harvey Mudd, the bar's been set high. And we know that you will be able to exceed it. I would also like to say thank you because this is a landmark year. This is the first year in which all the original board members for this conference actually have transitioned off. And so to the board members, I'd like to say to you, we have a long legacy to withhold and to uphold and to carry forth. And so far, I think we're doing a great job. And it's scary, because I know I have some members of the original board in the audience today, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge to keep this conference going. To the mentors, thank you. Look around. This is the reason why we're here, and this is the reason why we do what we do. To the families, now you know what your students are up to. And to the students, it's your day. The spotlight's on you. And take these life-changing experiences that you're having and change the world. Really, change the world. You have an opportunity to help us correct the imperfections that exist on our planet, and I hope you will do so. Again, on behalf of the Board of Directors, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your time, for your participation, for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adams, for all those inspiring remarks. Finally, I would like to take a moment to thank the President of California State University, Fullerton, Dr. Mildred Garcia, along with Deputy Provost, Dr. Sherry McMahon, and the Office for Research and Creative Activities and Technology Transfer for their assistance and support in hosting this conference at Cal State Fullerton. Unfortunately, Dr. Garcia was not able to be here in person today, but she prepared a letter of welcome that you can read in today's program booklet. Dr. McMahon will be here this afternoon to offer some words during our afternoon reception. However, at this time, we are fortunate to have California State University Fullerton's Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Jose Cruz, with us. I would like to invite Dr. Cruz to the podium to make a few remarks about today's conference. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Cruz.
Thank you all and good morning. On behalf of President Mildred Garcia, our 38,000 Cal State Fullerton students and over 3,000 faculty and staff, welcome to the 2014 Southern California Conference for Undergraduate Research. It is really a privilege for me to give this welcome today, and I really mean it. About 25 years ago, I presented a poster at an event very similar to this one. And I remember all the sleepless nights leading up to the event. Back then, we didn't have Macs or anything like that, so making a poster was literally cutting and pasting. And the experience that I had in that undergraduate research conference was what opened my eyes to a future of scholarly work and a love for academia. And so Dr. Anin previously mentioned that this was an important step in a path or a trajectory. It's very, very true. You will see that many of you, after today's event, will be inclined to continue on to graduate studies and to resolve some of the world's imperfections that were mentioned just a few minutes ago. So please take the opportunity today to not only present your work, but also reflect on that of your colleagues. Take the opportunity today to thank your mentors, the teacher scholars that make all of this work possible and these opportunities available to you. And for those of you that are supporting your students, family and friends, thank you for all you do. It is very important that that support continue because that is what motivates all of us to continue doing the work that we do. An important aspect of the work that is being presented here today is the fact that, as we all know, policymakers and the public in general have been recently looking at higher ed with a little bit more scrutiny. They have been asking us in higher ed to expand access. They have been asking us to improve student learning, to increase graduation rates, to narrow achievement gaps, to push the frontiers of knowledge, to better serve our communities, and of course to do it with less money. But what perhaps they don't understand is that the work that we do goes beyond providing degrees or credentials, and it goes beyond preparing members for the workforce. It's about creating global citizens that can really drive our world forward. And the work that we're experiencing here today is the best testament to the work that we all do in higher ed. And so thank you, and a big applause to the faculty members that are here supporting this work. And to the students here at Cal State Fullerton, we say that our titans reach higher, always do so, always reach higher, and thank you for all your hard work and what you're doing here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cruz, for being here today and for sharing in this marvelous celebration of undergraduate research. At this time, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker. As you may have guessed by the presence of the piano, the bass, and the drums on the stage, we are in for a real treat this morning. And it's not every day that I get to introduce a Grammy award-winning musician. Today's keynote speaker is Cal State Fullerton's very own professor of music, Bill Cunliffe. Bill is a jazz pianist, composer, arranger, and record producer. He is known for his work in blending jazz with the classical and pop genres based on a deep knowledge of and a lively curiosity about musical styles. As a solo artist and a band leader, he has more than a dozen albums to his name, and he appears on numerous other recordings as well. This past September, he led Cal State Fullerton's Concert Under the Stars annual fundraising event here on our campus. Bill has performed around the world with any number of talented musicians, bands, choirs, as well as solo performances. His musical heroes include Bud Powell, Oliver Nelson, Oscar Peterson, and Paul Simon. His music has also appeared in film, and most recently his soundtrack to On the Shoulders of Giants, about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's history of the Harlem Wrens basketball team, earned Bill 2 NAACP nominations. In 2009, Bill Cunliffe won a Grammy Award for Best Instrumental Arrangement for West Side Story Medley on the album Renaissance Big Band Plays Tribute to Oscar Peterson. In addition to his role on the Cal State Fullerton School of Music faculty, Bill is also a faculty member of the Skidmore Jazz Institute and the Vail Jazz Workshop. Without further ado, please join me in giving a warm Southern California welcome to a beloved member of Cal State Fullerton's Titan family, Bill Cunliffe.
Thank you, Scott. You're welcome. Thank you, Scott. I'm really, really happy to be here. Of course, there's always a little bit of drama when it comes to a jazz musician. Being a professor at a university is a big job, but also being a performer and a composer is another big job, but I want to keep it all going. So I did get up this morning at 2:30 in O'Hare Airport in Chicago, and I flew first to Phoenix and then here, and got here about 8:30 this morning. Now, to ensure that I would make it on time, I hired a very wonderful sub, Dr. Rob Watson of our music department, and he was all set to step in for me. And in addition, some of our people on our committee came up with a sub for the sub. And so Natalie was going to step in and cover it if Rob didn't get here. So because of all that planning, my flight arrived on time perfectly. Had we not made that planning, I am sure that the de-icing on my plane would have failed. And of course, 3 days ago, I was in Columbus, Ohio, when it was 12 degrees above zero. So you can imagine how happy I am to be back here in Southern California. Jazz is the most important art form created in America. It is a fusion of the European classical music tradition and the African tradition of group improvisation, dance, and solo expression. By playing jazz, we communicate with each other, we're able to create and express ourselves personally, and we are able to create and collaborate together to produce a brand new art form for the audience and for ourselves. Now, to perform jazz effectively, every 5 years I have to do a PowerPoint presentation, so it takes me about 3 months to relearn the software. And I've learned that what you do is you just take a good one already, copy and paste and change the text. So I take no credit for all the bells and whistles and things flying through the air that you're going to see here. So to play jazz effectively, we need to know about the culture of jazz. And the culture of jazz is learning an established vocabulary of melodic, rhythmic, and harmonic ideas. Memorizing specific tunes, including the melody and harmony. And we have to know how great players have played these tunes throughout the years. Many of you know this intuitively, even though you don't know it cognitively. For example, if a classical pianist plays the Mozart Piano Sonata in C, it's going to sound like this. Et cetera, et cetera. Now, a jazz musician, oh, thank you very much. A jazz musician will take that and, with our fusion of European and African techniques, create something different that is related to that, that might sound like this. So there you go. So the more you know about these various traditions through listening to records and knowing about Duke Ellington and Count Basie and Art Tatum and even people today like Michael Bublé, you can take a piece of music and change it and still keep the essence of the music. Jazz is unique in music in that there are very specific rules for listening and responding to the band members, and we're going to talk about that. We say yes to each other. We acknowledge the unexpected things that happen, and we respond to them. And we have a culture of collaboration and creation that is nurtured within the group. The structure of the particular jazz tune that we play, whether it's a written out tune or, as we're going to do today, a non-written out tune, is a strong yet flexible framework for experimentation and creative expression for the players, and allows the audience to share in the experience. These requirements are best, I think, exemplified in the jazz trio. And the group of three is often the most fun and interesting way of sharing music. I always take my 5-6-piece band and I divide it into groups of 2, groups of 3, and groups of 4. 3 is always the best because you don't have to talk all the time. You can listen and let the other 2 people talk, and then you can respond to that. And you don't have to constantly be adding information. You can reflect, and you can have a chance to conceptualize, to use your intuition, and maybe come up with something new. So the piano, of course, the bass, which can either be an upright bass violin, like you find in a symphony orchestra, or it can be a bass guitar, like you would see in a rock band. And the set drum are the elements of the jazz piano trio. And through our prior knowledge of the jazz language, through the tune we play, and the protocols of jazz, we have an important thing that we can do with taking this music and really creating and coming up with something new. Now, at this point, I'd like to introduce my collaborators in this event. These are students of mine at Cal State Fullerton. I've worked with them for a number of years, wonderful musicians. And on bass, Mr. Chris Hahn. And on drums, Mr. Arturo Ramirez. Now, in the jazz trio, we have various ways that we communicate with each other, and it is not rocket science. You just have to know what it is. And these various styles of communication all happen as the piece is playing. So we're going to show you a couple of these right now. The pianist is usually the leader of the band because very often they have to get the gig and pay everybody. But the other thing is that the pianist is mostly playing the melody and the harmony of the song and making decisions about the intros and the endings. The bass player is interacting with me in terms of the harmony and outlining the chord changes, but he is also interacting with the drummer. So here's the way that the bass and the drums interact. Ride cymbal and walk. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if the bass and he's lightly feathering the bass drum, he's playing the ride cymbal, and he's playing the hi-hat, which is 2 cymbals together on 2 and 4. You notice that it feels good, and all is right with the world. Okay, great. Very good. So now I'm going to get into the business, I'm going to comp, and that means accompany or complement. I am going to play along with the snare drum of the drummer. So he's going to start comping on the snare drum, and I'm going to comp on the piano, and you are going to hear, sometimes we play patterns, sometimes it's a little more random, but it's a dialogue that we have. Okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now, Chris and I interact, and the way we interact is that he plays the bottom note of the chord, and I play the top part. So when we were playing that time, we were both playing exactly what was the composer's intention. Basically, that's a tune called I Got Rhythm by George Gershwin that is kind of maybe the #1 tune in jazz that everyone plays. And Charlie Parker, the great alto player, wrote a tune based on those chords called Steeplechase. And the reason he did that was that if he recorded I Got Rhythm, the money would go to Mr. George Gershwin and his estate. Now, George Gershwin had passed on by this time, and Charlie Parker thought it would be a better idea if he got the money rather than Mr. Gershwin. So he kept the chords the same and wrote a brand new melody on top, which you'll hear later on. Now, Chris, we're going to play, and you stay with what you're doing, and I'm going to impose different changes on top of what he's doing. And this will show you that we don't have to exactly be playing the same thing at the same time. I can vary a little bit, and if it's within what we are used to in terms of our language, it'll sound fine. Okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. So you saw I went a bit far afield harmonically, and it really didn't bother things at all because he knew I was going to do it. He stayed where he was, I stayed where I was, and we ended up coming up together. Now, the success of a piece of music really is, first of all, knowing the tune, but it is also the musicians listening and responding to each other. So the first thing we're going to do, we are now going to play, and we're not going to listen to each other. But we're going to play well, but we're going to pay no attention to what the other person is doing. All right? Here we go. Don't look at each other. Don't listen to each other. But play correctly. Okay? Do your job. You know, ride cymbal, walking bass. But we're not going to listen to each other. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right, so you have probably gone into a restaurant and heard some people play like that. And in fact, if you go to many music schools, unlike Cal State Fullerton, you hear that today. However, now we're going to listen to each other and play exactly the same piece of music. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's what happens when you listen to music. And students come up to me all the time and they say, well, how do I learn how to play jazz? I can't really do it. And I said, well, who have you listened to? And they always give me a very, very small list. And if I were to go to England and want to talk to someone in a pub in England, and I spoke English and they spoke English, it would be just fine. Jazz is exactly the same. We all know the language of jazz. It's very, very easy to do. But you have to know the language. Oh, I love that. I love it when it works. Okay, so we have to, this is the format of all jazz performances. And if you know this format, you can play with anyone in the world. You can even change the rules, and everyone knows that you can get back to this and things will be okay. So we're going to play this tune, Steeplechase by Charlie Parker. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4 is 1 bar. And we're going to play a 4-bar introduction. Then we're going to play the tune. The tune is 32 bars long. If you think about, if any of you know the song I Got Rhythm, it's the same. Now, George Gershwin actually put, who could ask for anything more? Who could ask for anything more? But jazz musicians kind of got rid of that because it's hard to count to 34. It's easier to count to 32 because 32 is actually in I Got Rhythm, A, B, A. So the A section is I got rhythm, I got music, right? That repeats. Then the bridge is the part that says, I got trouble, he won't find me. It goes to a different key temporarily. So you have that, and then you go back to I got starlight, I got memories, or whatever it is, and that's the last 8 of the tune. So we're going to show you the form of this steeplechase song that Charlie Parker wrote. It's going to have the 4-bar introduction. It's going to have the song itself, and then it's going to have improvisations by all of us. Then after we all play, there will be a point where we could do anything. We could trade with each other. We can share the leadership of the group for a while. Then we play the song again, and then we have an ending. And if we don't know what the ending's going to be, it will probably be the same as the intro. So that's a good guess. Many times, students have iPads and music plastered onto the piano, and they're riveted to the piano, staring at the music. And then, of course, you know what happens. After 2 minutes, the Mac energy saver goes, the thing goes dark, and the playing completely goes into another direction. That's why I literally force my students to memorize tunes, because then we can look at each other and relate to each other as human beings. We're not staring at these pieces of paper. So you have to know your material. All right? So within this, now we're going to play the intro, and then we're going to play steeplechase. So 4-bar intro, 32-bar tune, and then just so you can hear it, we'll play the ending, which is going to be 4 bars. Okay? So we're going to play, I think it's parts 1, 2, and 6. Right? So we're going to play the intro, we're going to play the song, and then we're going to jump to 6, which is the ending, which is the same as the intro, just so you can get an idea of how the tune goes. Okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bridge. It's just improvised. Last 8. All right. So that was perfect because that illustrated an unexpected event. And in jazz, it's completely different than in classical music. In jazz, we say yes to everything. When there is an unexpected, I don't call them mistakes. I actually ended the tune and Art kept going. I didn't say, oh, that's an error, we have to stop and fix this. I accepted that event, and I created another event to put at the end, giving eye contact and ending the song. And it sounded fine, no problem at all. So very often in jazz, those unexpected events can create really nice things. So I say yes to everything. 4-bar intro, everyone could hear when the bridge was coming, right? Okay, so it's 8, we call it AABA. 8 bars of A, 8 bars of A, 8 bars of B, which is the bridge, then 8 bars of A. So then I did a 4-bar intro, which turned into slightly longer, but that's okay. All right? So there are rules with jazz that really have to be followed. The structure of the tune, the AABA, you have to keep that. And basically, it's just like in a rock and roll band. Basically, when the guitar solo in a Led Zeppelin tune goes, usually it's on the chords of the song. The 32-bar structure repeats over and over and over again. It cannot change. It has to keep going. Unless something happens, like an unexpected event. If there's an unexpected event, we all look at each other and we find a signpost in the tune that we can get back to. Usually it's the beginning of the tune or the bridge. Now, if you've got a ballad, a very slow tune that's 32 bars long, you might, after all the soloing, you might not do the whole tune, you might just go to the bridge and take the tune out. A friend of mine played in a band with a sax player, and they were playing an old Rodgers and Hart song called Spring is Here. And Spring is Here is a tune 16 and 16, or ABAC. So it has 16 bars, and then the 16 bars repeat with a little bit of variation. And he started out kind of like this. A flat. 2, 3, 4. Now, as you can see, that tune is very slow, and a chorus, a 32-bar chorus, might be 3 minutes. So this particular tenor player played the whole melody, then he played a whole chorus of improvisation, which is part number 2, or number 3 on our list. It's very hard for me to read this. There we go, yeah. So no intro, we play the tune, then he played a chorus of it, then he played a second chorus. And the musicians are all kind of looking at each other going. And then he launched into a third chorus. While we were playing Spring is Here, my friend Tom looked over at the drummer and said, I think it's about autumn right now. So, thank you very much for that. That's timing, very important to the drummer. So when you have a very slow tune, you don't go through all that. You maybe play one chorus, and then you go to the bridge, and then take it out, and maybe. But so long as you understand the structure, common sense will tell you when to break it. So the trading part, which you will see, the trading of phrases, often it's I play 8, you play 8, but I like to mix that up. I might play 4, he might play 4, I might play 2, or I might do this. And what that means is we all play at once. And so these are our conventions that jazz musicians use all the time. And it's a lot of fun. So these are the rules for performing. I love that. These are the rules that we all have. Always say yes to new ideas. Never say no. If he goes to the bridge early, I go with him. Okay? It's a preponderance of the evidence. If two people go somewhere and it's the wrong place, it's the right place. Because jazz is a democracy. Whoever gets the most votes wins. Okay? So if the band makes a mistake and 2 or 3 people out of the trio, how many people are in your trio? 2 people in your trio go somewhere wrong, I have to go with them. Or if I make a mistake, Art's got to go with me. Okay? If I can't hear myself, that's a problem. But I can fix that easily by, if any of these guys can't hear me, they play softer. If I can't hear someone, I play softer so I can hear them. Now, a rule of conversation is don't do all the talking. I say things, and then I stop, and I listen. Spend as much time listening as you are talking. Always know who's in control. In jazz, there's the piano, then the bass, and then the drums. But sometimes an unexpected event happens, we don't know who's in control. That's okay. Let it happen. It might feel good. If it feels bad, step in and take control, or just stop and let them sort it out. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't want to get into it. Sometimes you can solve a solution by just stepping back and letting the thing do what it needs to do on its own. And then I might do this, and that means head means the top of the song, and we go in. Now, rely on your instincts. If it feels good, keep doing it. Now, if it's just you and it feels really good to you, that's okay, but a little bit of humility is good. I know you're probably a genius, but if it's a piano trio and the piano player plays for 40 minutes by himself and everyone else is kind of bored, but the piano player really likes it, he's either really smart or he's really dumb. So it's good to think about other people a little bit more than you think about yourself. Okay? Don't evaluate on the bandstand. Do not, when you're playing, say, this is really bad. Because you don't know. You are not, when you are making a speech or when you are doing a job or when you are creating, you are not the best judge in the moment of whether it's any good or not. Finish it, review it later. So don't be too hurtful of yourself when you're playing or doing anything creative. Be creative, then fix it later. You know, Mozart was very uncritical of himself as he was writing. He just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. Then he went back and revised later. Okay? So now we're going to play Steeplechase. And we got to rules with performing. I really love this slide because I went through this, and this is, of course, my first PowerPoint in about 5 years. I think these things look like cough drops. And the connection with the diagram, we are here for each other, and we are here for you, but we are also here for the music. Who is the music? The music is Charlie Parker, George Gershwin, everyone who cares about them, and all the people who've heard it. That's what the music is. So the music, in a lot of ways, comes first. So we are all connected through the music, to each other, and we're all connected to the music. So here we go, Charlie Parker's Steeplechase. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. B flat. Chris Hahn on the bass. Art Ramirez on drums. Okay. I did a few things that were different there. I changed key. This is a symbol that means 5 flats. So we changed key for the end because to have the out course be a little bit different than the in course. And then the 4-bar ending became a little longer because it felt right for it to be longer. And so it went 8 instead of 4. So These are the things that happen in jazz. If you really, really know how jazz is supposed to go, it's okay for the rules to be broke. Once you know the rules, you can break them, but you got to know what they are. That's something I say every day. Okay. What are the lessons of the jazz group structure? We know what to play because of the material that we've learned. We know when to play because we're listening to each other and responding. But then the question is, why? And why comes from our intuition. How much do I play? Do I play a lot? Do I take 2 choruses? Do I take 1 chorus? Do I change key? All of these things are things that we can all change in the moment. Does he stay on sticks or does he go to brushes? Does he play 1, 2, 3, 4, or does he play just 1, 2, 1? All of these things are things that we're working on in the moment. And the great thing is that if it's a well-rehearsed group, sometimes solutions come without you even having to worry about them. So sometimes if you're in a committee, if everyone gets to talk and everyone gets to share and create, you know how sometimes a consensus happens without someone, saying, well, we have to have a consensus. Sometimes it just arises. So we really want to be able to nurture that when we can. We want ideas to flow freely from each of us, and these ideas create a form that, as you saw, was really fun to listen to. We have unexpected ideas all the time. We have errors. Errors happen constantly. We don't worry about them. We adapt to them. We live with them. We make them. The piece often comes out better because of the error. This whole idea of swing is that connection of the bass and the drums, the connection that we have with each other. And as you saw, those things, the piece can slow down, it can speed up. It doesn't have to be exactly metronomic. If we're listening and responding to each other, it'll be okay. The whole becomes more than the sum of the parts. That just wasn't steeplechase. That was our take on steeplechase, which was more than if we had just played the tune. As I said before, we know what to play, when to play, and why play. Knowledge of the material, listening and responding to each other, and allowing our intuition to work. Now, how can a non-musical organization borrow this structure and maybe benefit somehow? I've been trying to think about this more because jazz is people don't really know about jazz. It's just this tiny little world, but it's so great. It's so much fun to play and to listen to. And the thing that's going to keep jazz alive is the passion of the people that play it. Because we have more fun than any of you do at your jobs, I bet. Or maybe not here, because you all seem to like what you do. I mean, we're all involved in creative research. So people that are involved in creative research, that's a lot better than being an accountant, in my view. But accounting is good. If that makes you, I say yes to everything. So how could a non-musical organization benefit from this? Well, making sure that everyone knows the material. I just bought a new car. I went to the Toyota dealership, and my wife and I just love this guy. This guy knew everything there was about Toyota. He'd say, oh, yes, the Toyota company in the 50s came to America. They had the Toyoped, and then they developed the 4-cylinder. And he gave us this whole history of Toyota. If we had bought a Toyota, we would have bought it from him. We ended up buying an Altima because we got a better deal. So, but no, you've got to know your material. Now, we also have to know who's boss. I'm boss. Then when he solos, he's boss. Then when the drummer's playing, he's boss. My job is to support whoever is boss at the moment. A sense of structure. Number 3, we all know our roles. My role is to comp. His role is to play the bass notes. His role is to play the time with the ride cymbal. We've got to know our roles. We all have to listen to each other and try not to say more than we listen. Try to at least spend half of our time listening, because then the music will sound the best. Feedback. Feedback meaning that if the time seems to rush, maybe we can correct it. There's lots of auto-correction going on, a lot of series of almost mistakes that don't happen because we're listening. We all have to have input into it. He might say, Bill, I want to play a longer solo on this, I say yes. Now, when a group is operating at an optimal level, as I've said before, very often great things happen that you can't imagine. And that's really one of the most fun things about jazz is that these surprises happen. Love that. Okay, jazz helps us work together because once we've done our homework and we know what this language is, we have these roles that allow us to connect with each other. We have these tunes that we play that has the intro, the song, the soloing, the mystery part, and then the ending. It gives us a structure so that if we get lost, we can always go back to that structure. And if we don't know where we are, we can look and someone can help us get back because we're all listening to each other. Through the instrumental roles, through our knowledge of jazz, through the tune that we play, works of beauty emerge. To me, it's the inherent logic of the golden rule. The golden rule says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Lewis Nash, one of my favorite drummers, makes $3,000 a day playing drums. Why? Because everyone he works with sounds better when they're with him. Why? Because his job is to make them sound good. But when he makes them sound good, he sounds good. If I play with them and they slow down and I try to speed up and fix it by being right, I sound bad. We don't really have time to do this, but I could spend more time to do it. If I follow where they're going, it'll sound better. So the more you enable other people to sound good, the better you sound. In summary, jazz is about my relationship to these gentlemen. It is about my relationship to Charlie Parker, Duke Ellington, and everyone who cares about this music. It's about my ability to create and be original on my own, and it's about my relationship to the audience. And the wonderful paradox is that the more I think about what they need and what the music needs, the better I am, and I shine in the brightest light. Thank you very much. Chris Hahn, Art Ramirez. Thank you.